Hello and welcome to Echo Sound Podcast Studios. I am your host, Dr. Antonio Schroeder, brought to you by Stallion Studios Incorporated. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm so delighted to have you join us today on our show and our podcast. I am the creator of this platform. I am the visionary of Echo Sound Podcast Studios. I am the sole proprietor of this podcast. My mission is to create a safe space, engaging platform where we explore diverse narratives and innovative ideas to that resonates actually with our audience. I believe in the power of storytelling. I believe the importance of connecting through our experiences. And so today, I'm excited to have our guests join us here today. But before we even get started, um, I'm going to share a brief bio. Stay tuned.
Fatima Alikhan has been a dedicated professional in the aviation industry since 2011, beginning her career as a flight attendant with Continental Airlines shortly before its merger with United Airlines. During her tenure in commercial aviation, she quickly distinguished herself as a leader, serving as president of the Legislative Committee and financial secretary for her union's local chapter in Newark, New Jersey. Fatima was selected for specialized political and media training on behalf of her union, where she received a plaque of recognition upon completion. She also lobbied on Capitol Hill, meeting with members of Congress to advocate for flight attendant rights. After 8 years in commercial aviation, Fatima transitioned to private aviation in Houston, Texas, where she continued to make an impact. She briefly served on the board of the Women in Aviation Houston chapter and was honored by the City of Houston with the prestigious Flight Attendant of the Year award. Beyond her professional roles, Fatima has guided numerous individuals in launching their own aviation careers, further cementing her role as a mentor and industry advocate. In 2020, Fatima founded Flight Selective, a company dedicated to expanding opportunities in private aviation. Flight Selective specializes in helping clients charter private flights, guiding aspiring professionals into aviation careers, and offering luxury products for travelers. Today, the company also focuses on community outreach, working with nonprofit organizations to introduce children to the world of travel and inspire the next generation of aviation leaders.
Welcome. Here's our guest, Fatima Alikhan, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
Fatima Alikhan, God bless you. Good to see you on here. Welcome. We are so excited to have you on our podcast. Um, wow, there's so much I can say about you. It's just it's amazing. You actually have been in aviation since 2011, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and so in the Continental Airlines, which merged over to United Airlines, and you've been in as far as with the uh, financial secretary in New Jersey. Is that correct?
Yes, I
Yeah.
started with Continental Airlines back in the day, and it was right around the time in 2011 when they switched and merged with United Airlines. And once they merged, we all became United Airlines flight attendants.
That's phenomenal.
So we had to merge everything, and I was based in Newark, New Jersey for a while, for a long time. That was home for me, and I immediately dived into the union. That was where my calling was, I guess you could say. I really enjoy politics. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, and my family has a history of politics, so that's where I found my calling.
Wow. So That's amazing. Like that's a great resume to be exact. So that's awesome. And so you started. You got a business. Your business. You started your own company in flight selective, correct?
Yes, I did. It took me a long journey to get to doing things by myself. I kind of had to go through a lot of ups and downs, literally, and figure out where I wanted to fit in. I think that's one of my favorite things about being a flight attendant is that you're not just defined to just a certain box.
Mm-hmm.
Most flight attendants, you're not just flying. You can absolutely choose to be a recruiter. You could choose to be the training department. Like I said, I joined the union. There were plenty of flight attendants that kind of made their own way because you can fluctuate to see
Yes.
what you like in that industry. And I just knew that I really just liked service. I like the service industry. And because I was trained with Continental Airlines, I'm not sure if anybody remembers flying with Continental, but it was absolutely an experience.
Wow.
It was back in the day before, I would say, pre 9/11. So
Yeah.
it was very classy and elegant. It was like a Hollywood event to go and get on a flight back in the day.
Wow.
And that's the kind of service I was trained with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what helped me lead to starting something of my own. And I wanted to recreate that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, the professionalism is what I draw from you, which is phenomenal. What is your thoughts on the lack of representation when it comes down to private aviation, and as far as within that industry space, and how can you encourage more people to join the travel club?
Well, as when I became a flight attendant, my number one goal was to see more people like me.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I kind of moved around in the aviation industry,
Mm-hmm.
I helped a lot of people join the aviation industry. And this means anything from ramper to ticketing agent. There's a lot of different roles that you can play in it according to how you'd like your schedule to be. And so once I started noticing that most of the people that I was helping was, minorities, people of my
Mm-hmm.
color,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I love that because aviation is open to that. But also, as I was climbing, different, rungs on the ladder of aviation,
Mm-hmm.
it started to get less and less, there was lack of representation there. And so that's why I wanted to slowly encourage everybody to just keep pushing. I mean, there's so much opportunity out there, and we definitely need more representation.
That's beautiful. That's powerful stuff. Yeah. So um, how can travelers learn to create an experience outside of the journey of the art, like to appreciate the art of traveling? Because I don't think it's appreciated, more like that customer service. Like you said, you felt like you know, like this, like wow, elegance and like a professional type of touch. You know what I mean? So it's like, explain that.
Yes. Like I said, prior to 9/11, we put service into flying, and that's what you were expecting when you're flying. You were going to expect an experience.
Mm,
And whatever airline that you were on, they were going to create that experience for you. And
right.
that's why we've had such great airlines throughout. And I'm not sure if you can date back to when your first flight was,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to remember that first flight. Everybody remembers the first time they got on an airplane. And so
That's true.
it was more of a customer service industry.
Right.
Now, what people don't know about aviation, especially being a flight attendant, is that it is more about safety. And
Yes.
so we take a vigorous 4 to 5 week course
Mm-hmm.
on just safety. I know how to defuse a bomb, all the way to helping a woman out if she's pregnant, to
Okay.
helping somebody with a heart attack. So
Wow.
we are learning, we're very efficient in safety. I think I probably spent about 20 minutes learning how to make coffee out of those 6 weeks. So, um, with that being said, we're there trained professionals
Wow.
for emergency purposes. Now, just because usually 1% results in emergencies does
Mm-hmm.
not mean that we were there for that reason.
Right.
And so, as after 9/11, unfortunately, we absolutely had to focus more on safety than customer service.
Hmm.
And that's why it has become a little bit more tedious when you go through TSA, when
Yeah.
you're, looking for food
at the airport, you missed your flight. No one gives you a hotel anymore. You're sleeping on the floor at the gate.
That's true.
It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
I remember even when children used to fly, we used to have little wings for them. You had something that made you remember
Remind
the first
exactly.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and now it just seems like it's kind of like a cattle call. Like, come on, let's get through the TSA, let's get through the gate, let's get to our seat, let's
Yeah.
get to our destination.
Right.
And through that process, they're just not enjoying the experience.
They're
This
not
is
enjoying
what the
experience.
experience of travel is.
And that is true. That is true. Like you need that. You need that back. Like that art of that experience when you're trapped. Because I mean, I feel like I'm rushing to get to where I need to be at, and you're right. It's just I don't know. It seems like we lost that touch. When it comes down to it.
Absolutely, and it's on every end as well because, you know, usually back in the day when you were about to miss your flight or you were rushing late to the airport,
Yeah.
TSA would slide you to the front of the line. They would hold the gate for you.
Yeah.
They call your name over the intercom. Make sure you got on that flight so you felt something. You were like, okay,
Yes.
I have to be on this flight. And now it's just been like, sorry, missed your flight. Got to go to customer service desk and get another ticket.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you get reimbursed.
Hopefully.
Exactly. And I do know that there has been an influx of flying as well, and I love that about the travel industry
Yeah.
is that people are flying more. You're getting out of your hometown as you should.
Yes.
Um, but with the influx of flying, with the influx of airplanes, there is now a higher cost. I mean, there's a higher cost because of operating a plane. There's a higher cost of operating, um, also for the pilots, for the flight attendants. As we went up, the price of flying also went up. But like I said, you cannot take away from the travel experience. You will always remember what it's like to travel and how the art of traveling is how you manage your time and how you manage your experience through it.
Yes. That's true. No, that's that. You just said something there. Um, Let me ask you something. So, what do you see as the future of travel, and how can you contribute to the next wave of change in the industry, if that makes sense?
Yes. So I feel like back in the day, there were more people that were scared to fly. A lot more people that were scared to fly,
Yeah.
and they're slowly starting to get over their fear of flying.
Yes.
As you notice, people have been traveling a lot more than usual, not just for a vacation. Some people get up and move and just work somewhere, still have their family back somewhere. So
Hmm.
travel has become a part of most every family's life.
Yes.
And if you date back to whenever your family, at what generation, at what point did you get on an airplane and start flying?
Right.
When did you leave your hometown and set up somewhere else as home? And that is the future of flight. That's the future of travel is that people are now starting to get out more and hey, when we go to, Dubai, I want to go shopping there. Hey, I want to go visit so and so. They live over here now. And even within the United States, that's why there's so many little carrier airplanes, such as like Mesa Airlines or
Yeah.
Frontier, Spirit, where because of the influx of travel, because everyone is traveling more, now it's nothing to get on an airplane. You're in New York, you finish your work, and you're flying back to the West Coast. That's why we have red eye planes.
Right. Wow.
So the contribution to that, I would definitely say, is uh, trying to get people more and more, and the help of social media. To be honest,
Hmm.
when you're able to see somewhere else
Yes.
on a phone, it makes you want to go there even more.
Yeah. Advertisement is key. It really is.
Yes.
In promoting your endeavor, your business. So it's so well, it's gotten better, and easier for us to market, and it doesn't take much to market. Sometimes you would think you would need a company to market now. It doesn't take nothing. It can be the most clickbaits. It seems like clickbaits is more of a marketing strategy now. So it don't take much. So that's powerful stuff. That's
That's why
powerful.
representation matters because when you see somebody from your hometown that's in a completely different country
Yeah.
having a good time doing what you would be doing at home, why wouldn't you get on a flight?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Good
And
point.
that's why I think everybody has band together in the travel industry, I would say. Now you have resorts that have exclusive deals. You know, it
Hmm.
makes it, everything makes has now been easier and in your way to make it easy to get out of your hometown, basically.
Absolutely, you're right. You're right. So, um, I know you was talking about fear earlier, and I'm gonna be real, brother. Be scared sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You know the way things are. Shifting now. You look at it's just a lot of things happening where people are, they're rather drive. And how can people overcome their fear in traveling? Like what would be, according to Fatima, would be ideal of preparation for those? Because I remember my first time flying. I'm gonna be real with you. My first time flying, I ain't gonna let nobody know I was like intimidated, but yeah, you get one, especially when you're in the air and you hearing shaking and some little yeah, you get kind of intimidated. So look, what's some pointers with that?
Well, 2025 did not help at all because I'm sure you at the beginning of the year, all we saw was plane crash, plane crash, plane crash, and
Yes,
it's all happening. It was right here too. It was, and there were bad plane crashes.
yes,
That did not help.
yes.
But and I must say the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, they are all the rules are written in blood. Someone had to die
Mm-hmm.
in order to know that we cannot do these things.
Mm.
Um, I feel like because of social media and because of our access to media, we're just now being aware of these things much more than usual.
Right.
But I'm a statistic person. I like statistics and science, and the statistics on driving and the amount of accidents and the amount of deaths that happen with driving is far worse than
Yeah,
flying.
I agree.
And my most important thing, because this passengers who are usually flying for the first time, I like to help them calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say the most dangerous time of flight will only be the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes.
Mm.
Everything between that, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
So within the first 10 minutes, and this is where why I call it's the art of traveling. The art part is that how you manage your time in those first 10 minutes and those last 10 minutes is everything.
Right.
Imagine, being in a situation where you just know that this could be a workout. This could be running on a treadmill for 10 minutes. What are you doing through that? You breathe. Number one, should be breathe. And number two is think positive thoughts.
Yeah.
And after that 10 minutes, you're okay. And then it's the same for landing. 10 minutes, whatever you need to do. Listen to music, sing a song, watch the rest of your movie,
Do what you got to do.
pray, do what you need to do for those 10. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if people don't know that or, people act a little bit crazier in, when they're high stress situations. But sometimes you'll see a lot of passengers trying to get up, trying to
Yeah.
do something more. And what they don't understand is that flight attendants can't do anything in those 10 minutes either. We're told to sit in our seat with our seatbelts on. So I always say, look at the flight attendant. If she can't get up and you see that seatbelt, don't try to get up.
Ah,
Go for your bag. Just 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes of the beginning of the flight and 10 minutes to end. After that, it's okay. We'll figure that
relax.
out.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. That's powerful. Um, what is important? What is it as far as with why is it important to create an experience out of travel rather than a trip? Because some people, it's a difference between travel and a trip. Um, what is important to create an experience with that, according to you?
That's a
Yeah.
great question. That's a great question because your trip begins with the travel. You can't, and most people like to cut that part out of their trip. It's like, oh, as soon as we get to the hotel, as soon as we, get a drink in, as soon as it starts with the travel. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what we used to do, like I said, prior to 9/11.
Yeah.
Your trip began with the travel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was how you get to the airport beginning. I clearly remember my
Mm-hmm.
And so my first memory, I would say, was coming to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you that that was an experience. The entire travel, part of it was the experience more
Mm.
than anything. And that gets ingrained in you. I remember my mom packing cute little egg salad sandwiches for us. I remember eating them on the way on the plane. I remember having a pit stop in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember talking, with my parents at that time. And then coming to America, we landed in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
and remembering that weather, you know. But like I said, I remember going through customs,
Mm-hmm.
being with other people with different suitcases, looking at what the suitcases, looking at the flight attendant uniforms. And so the trip begins with the travel. And sometimes what people don't understand is that if you have a bad travel experience, it really sets your trip off wrong.
That
It
is
really
true.
does.
That's
Because
true.
how you travel, it has everything to do with how it's going to start your trip. And sometimes when you have a great travel experience, you know that trip is going to be the best trip of your life.
That is the truth. Yeah, you definitely will know. So
Yes.
that is a fact. Um, so as far as your experience with, as far as with the United States, how was that experience for you? Like, could you tell us like your first like how is that like that transition when it comes down to it? Because I know your oats is in India, but then with the transition now, growing up, or the partiality of you growing up here, how like what's the difference between the two?
It's a big difference. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
I remember English is my third language, so
Wow.
was it took me a minute to learn English, and I remember my teachers telling my parents like, stop speaking in your mother tongue so she can fully learn English, um, and so having to learn that, I would say that my math and my reading level was much higher. I entered first grade, but I was at a third grade reading level
Mm-hmm.
up until they kind of transitioned me into being with my class.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they do, the education system was different.
Yeah.
I would, but the most biggest difference I would say is the customer service part.
Yeah.
Um, it is very, very different. I would say, yeah, even in the Middle East, or even in South American countries that I've been to, European countries, um, the customer service, it's almost like a lot of emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as I know, because of my travel experience, I always wanted to be a flight attendant since that experience.
Wow.
That was what led me to it. It was Emirates Airlines that's based in Dubai, I believe.
Okay.
And I remember their flight attendants, and they had on this beautiful hat with a
Yeah.
scarf, and I believe their uniforms are made out of Gucci. Gucci
Really?
makes their uniforms. Yes.
Okay.
I remember that confident flight attendant walk down the airport.
He was
And when you
like,
look at that, you're like, that is the woman I want to be when I grow up. And the funny part was when I first wanted to become a flight attendant, I had applied for Emirates Airlines.
yeah.
And the crazy part was they actually their recruiting processes all over the world.
Yeah.
So they look for certain kind of flight attendant all over, and they just so happened they came to Houston, Texas. And I was like, oh my God, this is a dream come true. I'm going to apply. And so I did apply. And like I said, I spoke several languages. I had really good training and etiquette.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, great job, you're doing great. But unfortunately, because your height and weight, they don't match.
What?
So you'd have to lose about 30 pounds
Are you
to
serious?
reapply. Yes. And
That's
so
crazy.
the funny part is because they're based in Dubai, they can set those standards. And they have a very strict guideline. I believe you can't be older than 30 years old. You cannot be married.
What?
It's very similar to the old Pan Am days. I remember the Pan Am Airlines, and um, it's very strict. So of course,
Wow.
I was like, why? At that time, I was like, why would you come to the fattest city in the United States? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And I did it. I obviously I didn't make it.
Yeah.
Everything happened for a reason because I ended up with Continental United.
Right.
So,
That's
but
crazy.
the level of service,
Yeah.
so when you go from that, and of course, like Emirates Airlines flight attendants, they are great with safety as well,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also taught for their grooming is taken care of. So he
Mm-hmm.
pays for the manicures, they pay for their hair.
Right.
Um, Everything is taken care of for them. So with United and Delta, American-based airlines, that's not, they have a standard, but they don't have an exact, we also have a lot of laws that tell you you're too old, you're too big, so
That's great.
that's a
Like
lawsuit to happen.
that's amazing.
But yeah, to the rest of the world, and I would say that I definitely learned that lesson full circle come around when I left, commercial aviation and joined private aviation because they do care about things like that as well.
wow, wow. So yeah, that's So you can't even get. So you can't be married and be a flight attendant there.
No, and they pay for your food as well, and they do weekly weigh-ins. If you
Oh,
gain a couple pounds, they'll take you off the line. They'll stop feeding you.
what?
They'll stop feeding
Man,
that couple pounds.
that's crazy. That's crazy. But hey, I get it. I mean, well, I don't get it, but I guess I get it. But that's interesting. Interesting stuff. Um, in what ways can travel become part of a family's legacy? And the reason I ask this question is because I know, like my wife, for instance, she oftentimes would talk about how she traveled with her family, a lot, and she would have these memories of just traveling and things of that nature. And it is sort of like a legacy type of feel. So let me ask you, what what way can travel become part of a family's legacy?
Sure. Like I said, at some point in your families, there's generationally, for all of us, someone in our families immigrated somewhere. Someone. They all did. They all moved somewhere, and they
Facts.
all set up shop somewhere else. And so, either if they haven't, then you are the generation to do that
That's right.
because things have just been more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you're taking so much of your history,
Mm-hmm.
your family genealogy,
Mm-hmm.
your culture, even your
Mm-hmm.
culture from where you're from. You're taking that with you. I have a friend from Houston, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
Dayton Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
He is so interesting to me because he is very Houston and generationally Houston.
Right.
And he, like, basically, he's an expat and he moved to Doha, Qatar.
Okay.
And so he moved his family. He has, small children there. His
Mm-hmm.
wife is there.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're learning things over there that are, very normal, but they're learning at a different standard. Now, they haven't changed. They're Houston forever.
Right.
And but they're now teaching the Arab people what it's like to see not just Black Americans,
Mm-hmm.
but people from Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
What they like to eat, how they like to do things. And the best part is, he also has brought some of, like, he'll have his family come visit. So his
Mm-hmm.
mom, his dad, and now they're getting to experience a different side of the world as well from a different point of view.
Right.
And so it's up to now his kids, to decide. And why I find him so fascinating is because was living my life in reverse. Meaning, like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I moved from Asia all the way to the United States, and I had I could go back to India if I wanted to, but I chose to stay in America, and so did my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that he's out there, his children might love it so much that they never want to come back to America. His family might want to retire there, and so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is that at some point, somebody in their family has decided to make that big move, and that's why travel, like I said, when was the first time you thought about it? What
Mm-hmm.
country did you pick? Why did
Mm-hmm.
you pick that country? What
Mm-hmm.
led you to that? Because you are literally taking your entire heritage and you're teaching that to the rest of the world.
That's powerful. And it makes sense too. Where we, where our destinations is. Based off our decisions, it correlates with our children and our families' moves. And even our culture in a sense too. Or we're planning memories, if you will. So that's actually it holds merit. Especially now. So, but let me ask you another question. Moving on. Um, as far as with your son's life, um, How does your, as far as your his godfather, what impact of travel had your son's life? How as far as his godfather, how that fits into that story? If you can
Yes.
talk a little bit about it.
So my son's godfather, is Dr. Isaiah Lacefield,
Hmm.
and he and I were flight attendants together.
Okay.
We were both based in Newark, New Jersey,
Hmm.
and we both ended up starting our PhDs while we were flight attendants.
Hmm.
And he went on to complete his PhD, and I had my son.
Okay.
So that was my way of just saying like, hey, this is what this would be the best way to put them together.
Hmm.
And so the reason why me and Isaiah were really good friends is because we love to be in the air. We
Yeah.
love to travel. And we just were like, man, I couldn't even think about buying a home. Like, where would we even buy one? Because we love everywhere we go.
Right.
So um, now he lives in, he'll travel between Dominican Republic,
Hmm.
South Carolina, and New York.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so wherever you find him is where you're going to find him. So everything he does, he works online. He's able to take his patients online. But my son gets to see that. So whenever he gets to check in and they get to talk and everything like that, and he gets to find out how my son's doing, he gets to also, my son also gets to see a different side of the world of what he's getting to experience.
That's good.
And I wouldn't have been able to do that without being connected to people in the travel. My son and I have a place we can go visit wherever he's at, wherever he decides to make home up.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So either or, he gonna be connected too. The travel.
Oh, absolutely. He has no choice. Yeah, he has no choice. My son doesn't. And that's the one great thing I've learned from, especially private aviation and aviation in general, but
Yeah.
is that it's a very family oriented. Once you have someone in there, all you need is one in,
That's
and
it.
someone else is going to, yes. We
Yes.
like to keep families together,
That's right.
most importantly.
That's
That's
right.
the point of travel, is to keep families together
Mm-hmm.
through distance.
Okay, so as far as your family too, can you share about your sister's destination wedding? And
Yes.
I know you, if you can just just share a little bit about it and reveal about the travel as a whole as a family.
Yes. So my sister Razia,
Hmm.
her and her husband Shay, her husband is from British Columbia, Canada.
Okay.
So it's Kamloops, so it's really high up there on
Hmm.
the west coast. And so they had a wedding in Canada, and why I call it a travel destination is because for people like us, I would say from the United States, that was a travel. It was a destination for sure. Like it was not a normal. I guess for Canadians it was pretty normal, but it was not normal for us.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
at the time, my it was me and my ex-husband, my son's father, and
Hmm.
we were invited up there. And so what we did was, in order to get up there, we traveled from Houston, Texas, all the way up to Seattle.
Hmm.
And in Seattle, we had to connect to Calgary, Canada,
Okay.
which is, so once we got to Calgary, that itself was like an exhausting travel day.
Was it?
That it wasn't over. It wasn't over. So then we had to rent a car. So we got our SUV because you need one up there.
Yeah.
And it was a 7-hour drive through the Canadian Rockies.
Dang.
So you had to plan it out. And,
Yeah.
couldn't just drive in the nighttime because that was extremely. It's a beautiful. The entire 7 hours, I can honestly say, it was absolutely scenic. There
Wow.
was always something to see,
Hmm.
things you wanted to stop by.
Hmm.
So once we get to the destination where we need to, they put our car on a ferry, and now they took an hour ferry ride to this hot springs location.
Right.
And so once you got to the hot springs location, it was almost like, where are we? It was because, and the wedding was absolutely beautiful. I can tell you that the location was beautiful,
Yeah.
but it was almost like, oh my goodness, the most of the wedding was part of the travel.
Yeah.
I had to, you cannot forget the travel part of that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
an experience that sticks with you forever.
That's phenomenal. Right. Yeah. I never been to Canada. But I heard it was
You gotta
definitely.
take, it's beautiful.
Is it?
They would love you in Canada. They love our skin color, Canada. They do.
Hey. I wouldn't mind going. I definitely wouldn't mind going there, for
I
sure.
don't know what it is.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? That's good.
Yeah, I've been to every state in Canada, and it never disappoints. It's scenic. The people are very friendly. The great. Canada is one of those hidden on the border, of the southern border. You know
Right.
that?
That's beautiful. Can, can you hear me? You still there? You still there?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yes,
did.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yes, I can hear you.
had a had a little bit of a glitch there, but it's all good. It's all good. Um, in what ways is private aviation a family oriented business? Like the dichotomy of that. Like what, if you can break that down for me?
Yes. So private aviation is a little bit different. It's honestly completely different than commercial flying.
Mm-hmm.
And with private aviation, the number one thing, whether it be from the client side or from working side, is that um, it's the flexibility of flying at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to have, and that is especially when you are dealing with clients, wealthy clients.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the money; it's about the time.
The time.
If they can save the time, how they can. Time is everything.
That's true.
So because their time is so valuable to them, they
Mm-hmm.
understand that them even taking you away from your family, that's time away.
That's true.
So because of that, they very much are sensitive to keeping families together. So if you're working in private aviation, like I said, if you know, if your wife happens to be the flight attendant, they will hire your wife before they hire anybody else.
Really?
They'll hire your son as the pilot, or they'll keep it within the family. If you're a flight attendant, they'll make sure that you get a week off to go home to see your family
Mm-hmm.
every month.
Mm-hmm.
They like to keep families connected because, especially if they value you, they will make sure that you get to be around people that you love as well. And if they ever, like I said, it's more of a, who do you know
Right.
that will get you into the business. And the most important is, can I trust you? Because you're putting someone's word on there. It's like, but this is my son. I want my son to be hired as this. And I'm saying that based off of being in the industry for this long.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, there's an honor that's kept because of it. But their main goal is to keep families together. And
Right.
that's why, private aviation is made for time flexibility. They're trying to keep their families together.
Right.
So that's why they want to do that with you as well.
That's powerful. Yeah. Yeah. That's good too. That it is family oriented like that. Yeah. I think I was watching, but this was actually as far as a helicopter. Was it a helicopter? Either or, the young man was a pilot, and his grandfather was a pilot, and it was beautiful to watch. Because his grandmother, which was her husband, was the pilot, and now she's on it. Now she is like riding in, and seeing her grandson actually, flying. It was beautiful.
That's
Just
beautiful.
yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
just goes to show you the legacy of that.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
That's why representation matters.
Yes.
That there's, if someone gets in, please bring everybody else. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because we need that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, what different industries have you been able to explore through travel, like such as like comedy or music or videography or or modeling, things of that nature? Tell us a little bit about that your experience with that.
Yes. I would definitely say I've been able to see several different industries because of aviation.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that because of that as well, because of my access to those industries,
Mm-hmm.
it's helped. They pour back into you as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I had in the modeling industry.
Mm-hmm.
She's a friend, Sarah Blake. Sarah had asked, we're having an event coming up, and how much to rent a private jet from here to there? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I remember her from years ago or something like that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the fact that they remember you, like, hey, I know a girl in aviation. let's see if we can connect the dots and make this happen.
Yeah.
And the same for, in the entertainment industry. It's like, hey, I know a girl, who can help with this, who can
Absolutely.
create this experience, all the way down to, hey, I'm stuck in Australia. Can you help me get out of here? So it's like that because of that, you are now the go-to. You are like a aviation consultant.
Right.
When it comes to traveling, and
Wow.
no matter what industry it is, someone will find you and ask you a question like, hey, how can I find that? And you're a world of knowledge as well. I mean, I can
Absolutely.
sit here and say like, hey, if you're sitting in Baltimore and you're working your podcast a certain way, well, I know somebody that's sitting in Vegas working this podcast a different way. And that's what we do is we connect dots. That's what we're really good at.
I know that's right. That's what you need. You need that. You know, I am a prime example about connects. And how important it is as far as being accessible. And I know that you being in that space, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I know you can come in contact with a lot of different individuals from different industries. So that's beautiful. It's powerful stuff. Um, as far as with the Hype magazine, um, tell us a little bit about that. Hype magazine. That's been out since like Hype magazine been out forever. You feel me?
Yes, yes. And I was honored, I would say, by Dr. Jerry Doby. He
Mm-hmm.
had reached out to me, and like I said, it was an honor for me because I I grew up on this magazine.
Yeah,
I remember this magazine.
absolutely.
And at first I thought like, did I didn't even apply, like what? How did that this happen?
Right.
But he is by far wise beyond his years. Like he had a keen eye for something great, and he saw something great in me. And I was like, "Are you sure? Or are you
Yes,
sure?" But we sat and we had it. And, like I talked to him for about 3 hours the first time I talked to him,
that's
and he
beautiful.
just got to hear my life story. And like I said, he saw something in me, and he's helped develop who I
Mm-hmm.
am today as well. As far
Wow.
as like, because he was like, "Tell me about your travel experience because you see things from a different eye
Yes.
that other people don't see when they travel."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he was like, when I travel, I want to pack everything with me. And so, how do you travel? And I was like, well, I travel, I pack the least amount of things possible. And the reason why I do that is because get out of your hotel and go find it. You know what I mean? Go socialize, go figure out how you're gonna get. Oh, I forgot this deodorant. I
Yes.
forgot that. Like, get out of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Figure something else. Go buy the clothes somewhere else.
Come
That's
on.
why they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and he's like, that's different. I like that. And so he had helped me develop what it is that he was looking for his, how he wanted to
His
create,
brand.
a different world.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was just like, hey, your experiences, I need you to document them. Your life is interesting. It really
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, thank you for noticing that. And he's like, the way you see things and your perspective is different. So please, by all means, like, start to jot it down. And so, like I
Wow.
said, it's helped develop what I see things and how I see things now. Because most importantly, like I said, as I'm writing for a prestigious magazine because it's standing the test of time. It
Oh
really
yeah.
has. You know,
By all means.
it really has.
Yeah.
Especially with this digital age that we are in today, like everybody that's been working with it and everything and their vision. And after speaking with him
Mm-hmm.
and where he'd like to take that vision, I totally get it. It was just like, wow, I can see why you chose me, and I appreciate that.
Oh
So
yeah. I mean, you definitely have that it factor in the professionalism as well. So that's powerful stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited for you and just what you're doing. Wow. Well, with that being said, I don't know if we have anyone that wants to ask Miss Fatima before we conclude. Any questions you want to ask her? Feel free. Nothing outstanding. If you or crazy, but just if you have a question or so, we'll just open up for maybe one or two questions. If any of y'all have any questions you want to ask her. So how long you been in Houston?
I've been here since 2019. So
2000.
I moved because I got a job in private aviation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I first started my private aviation career was here in Houston in 2019.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So you so yeah, Houston. I know we were talking. I know we was talking earlier about Houston. Houston, it can get hot.
It's not a real place. It's not a real place, but it can get hot. Yes. Yeah.
Houston can get real hot.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, but that's powerful stuff. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Houston helped me so much. Would say I always say Chicago raised me, but Houston made me because
yeah,
Houston, it'll give you the opportunity and then it'll make you work for it.
yeah.
So that's what I was like, okay. And I'm not a quitter, so
Right,
so I
right.
made something.
That's good. That's good. That's good stuff. Well, Miss Fatima, it has been a blessing. I am honored to have you on this platform. I appreciate you in all of your accomplishments and your success by far. And I admire that about you. You're a go getter. That's pretty clear that you're definitely a go getter. And, um, and I'm excited about your path. This is just the beginning. I actually see some great things happening in your future. I'm just excited about that. And I don't believe this will be your first time or your last time, rather. Um, she was talking about training. Anybody? Okay, I see a question on here. I see a question. What's the duration of training for flight attendants?
The duration of training for flight attendants for commercial airlines would be between 4 and 6 weeks. And you're going to be based doing that training based off of whatever airline's home base is. So I believe for Delta, it's Atlanta. For
Mm-hmm.
United, it's Houston. So you'll be there. And each airline, they cover all the costs. And I believe some airlines will pay you as well.
Mm-hmm.
But they will cover the cost of food and of your hotel for the 6 week duration.
Okay, that's that sounds good to me. Um,
Yes,
and so males can be flight attendants, or is
absolutely. I've definitely seen a more influx in males as far as commercial airlines, but I'll tell you right now, if there's any males that would love to join private aviation, people actually prefer male flight attendants over female
really?
flight attendants in the private aviation industry. And if you really think about it, it's kind of like bartenders. Some people actually prefer male bartenders over female bartenders. And that's just how it is.
I
So
see.
there's always an opening in private aviation for a male flight attendant.
That makes. I mean, I see exactly. And that was a good
Yeah, I don't
example.
know if it's like just they're more professional. I also think it's less liability,
Right.
in every possible way. So, and that's important. It's important because private aviation, anything goes. It's
Right.
more customer service based than it is safety based.
That
So,
is true. That is true. I think I seen something on something went viral where the guy was standing up and then another guy had to intervene. It was a big football dude had to intervene and put him down like a little baby. Say, "Hey, sir, sit down. You're
yes,
disturbing us."
yes, yes,
Eh,
absolutely.
and I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know. Maybe it is that male presence. I guess that makes sense. I see what you're saying.
Yes, they just there's how it's the conduct and everything. And I'm not saying that female flight attendants aren't that great. It's like I said, I think it's a more of a liability issue more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You have to remember, as I would say, as my personal experience, and I can share this experience with other private flight attendants. Our biggest problem is usually the plane owner, like the private jet owner's wife. It's
Mm.
always the issue. So
Mm.
there's nothing you can do to change that. It's always the
Oh.
issue. It doesn't matter how professional you conduct yourself. If you're married, if you there it does not matter. They
Oh. Wow.
so that's
Wow.
why a male flight attendant is usually just easier. It's easier to deal
That
with.
makes sense. That makes sense. That's wisdom. That makes
Yes.
sense. But yeah, other than that, Miss Fatima, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on our podcast. Hopefully, like I said, in the near future, we'd love to have you back on. And just in general, how can everyone, as far as reach out to you, as far as with your handlers and things of that nature?
Sure. My personal private handle for Instagram is at Miss MS Fatima, Fatima Ali. Ali. You can find me on Facebook, Fatima Alikhan. That's my name. And my business page is Flight Selective. And that has everything you possibly need to know about private flying, as well as what it's like to get into the industry of aviation, any tips and tricks that you need. So that's where you can find me. And I really, really do hope that more people are encouraged to join the aviation industry in any form that you possibly can. You know, introduce your family to travel, introduce your family to a different lifestyle, and not only that, share your culture with everybody. So that's what I hope for. And I'm here for any questions. So my page is Flight Selective. That's the company.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we will talk to you then. Take care. Have a phenomenal night. God bless.